XCN Onyxcoin 0.004 cents to $3, and XRP is showing the same structure. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil. Keeping technical analysis short and sweet as always. And first off, XCN is not going to $3. It's just not happening. So let's kind of go over the structure. What can be the possibilities for these upcoming days and weeks? We are looking at Bitcoin always for the starting. We crossed a downward trend line, which is pretty important. We are consolidating, thinning out the CM guppy. We are a little oversold in the RSI. So this is just waiting to come back up over the yellow and then start its upward momentum. The black upward trend line really has no use at the moment. It's just trying to build some type of structure, but keeping in mind there is the possibility, if this does not hold, that we push down for a liquidity sweep down here to around 71 to 75,000 before testing this downward trend line as support, immediately turning around and running back up towards the 200 EMA. I believe if that move does happen, it'll be very quick. We've seen in the past where we've had liquidity sweeps where we push down real quick, grab a bunch of money, get everybody shaken out because it's creating a lower low than this previous one, and then immediately turns around, crosses a 200 EMA, and has a continuation. And for XCN, the people who are just here for XCN, I want to show you, maybe I can pull up a better chart for you. So this is XCN on the Coinbase. Let's do crypto. So crypto, I had a different perspective on it, working within a downward channel, right? And the 200 EMA is pushing it down. We did cross out of the channel, but we got that rejection on the 200 EMA, so it's struggling to stay above that. In my other chart that I had listed, we could get rid of all this stuff, whatever, all that. And then we can draw a downward trend line more or less from here. Let's say something like this. Say that's got quite a few touch points. And then this other one being right here. There's the wedge that we were looking at. Now, when you take this wedge in comparison to XRP, so if you're just here for XCN, go ahead and take yourself a gander at XRP, go back in time, and go to roughly this area. April, or starting in February of 2024, going until roughly July 12th of 2024. We see we had a major push up. We had that rejection. We touched all the way near the bottom, showed that structure that we are working within a downward wedge, had the consolidation, got rejection on the 200 EMA, tried one more time to get above that downward trend line. That did not work, and then it had a major liquidity sweep pushing all the way down. But when you look at that point specifically, try and get all these other lines out of your mind. They're just in the way. But this black line specifically, this is part of the wedge, or the bigger wedge that we are looking at, and this is the other part of the bigger wedge we are looking at. Because in the smaller wedge, we had the liquidity sweep, got a bunch of people freaking out that they were going to lose all their money, and immediately pulled right back up. And this is also known as a bear trap. So the bears are selling off. They think it's going to have a continuation, but it gets the support and immediately turns around, taking out all their liquidity, increasing the price, and then it had a major pullback all the way back here, freaking out all the bull buyers, but immediately returned. And this is just hectic for XRP because we really needed to break out of that upward or downward trend line. And then once we finally did, we got that major pullback and then tried one more time, and it went from 50 cents to nearly $3.40. So now let's take that into comparison with XCN. XCN working within that wedge. And let's just, for fun, this has no correlation to anything. And I don't know why a normal person would think this is fun, but we're checking around 58 cents when it broke out, and 490% from 50 cents. It's 490%. That's like not even a blip in this. That's 490%. That's saying in comparison what XRP went to XCN. Not saying don't buy XRP, because XRP is going to be a lot more useful than XCN, but XCN does have some very good potential because it's not going to be just going up 500%. We can imagine more or less once the 5 cents gets broken, the first real resistance is almost a 10x. Next one's 13 to 17x before full one retracement. This is in, yeah, is that 18 cents? Yep. Full one retracement is from our entry point. Say you enter in at 0.006, 2600, 2,673%, 26x more or less from 0.006. It's not a bad ROI. Do I think we are going to hit $3? No way. But it is possible to hit around potentially 40, maybe 47 cents real quick. It's going to be a couple days. I don't think it's going to sit up there at all. But XRP, I saw something. It could be AI news, but XRP, they're trying to make it where once the price goes up, every 2 weeks, they can increase the floor price because XRP gets burned and they have to use it for transactions. So they can increase the price of the XRP that people can pay to buy in and start earning passive income. It's a whole process. If you guys want to learn more about it, check out like the past 3 or 4 videos. I probably did a whole thing on XRP, but we're looking more so at the pattern and the fact that we need to break this downward trend line. Typically, we see some movement within the quarters, so maybe a little bit before, a little bit after, but ideally we'd want to see XRP consolidate nice and easily over that downward trend line and then have its takeoff like we saw back in November of 2024. So that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, donate, become members. 50% of everything I make goes to save animals' lives. And good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you guys on the next one.